Hey guys,
Hey,
welcome back.
another week. This might be a
Um,
permanent thing.
here's to hoping. Um, so for the first order of business, which one of you guys is looking up the definition of fascism?
That's not me, I already know it.
Me too. So, but maybe it's good that people are looking it up, right?
I'd
Because
rather
then they can,
look it up than not know it.
yeah. And I think when it comes to dictionaries and looking up words, like if someone doesn't know a word when you're talking to them, please ask me. I would love to tell, you know? Like,
Mm,
don't have shame.
yes. What does that mean? I will probably call you an idiot,
Mhm.
but
But
I don't
with glee,
I don't blame ignorance on the ignorant, right? So,
it's a byproduct
mm,
of ignorance, the cycle of ignorance.
right.
It's a circle. The family tree is a wreath. So that was my breaking news. I'm gonna pass it off to Molly now.
I don't have any breaking news.
Make something up.
Women are going to college,
And men are getting stressed about it.
and
And they're
men
performing better.
men have stopped going to college because women are going to college and they
They're
don't like
like,
to be in female spaces.
oh, okay, good riddance. Like,
Go
it's
to
not like you
trade
guys,
school.
they would be like, prof, I don't even want to hear it. Like, because men have the audacity in college courses to ask the stupidest questions ever and then inject their opinion into like a theory class. Well, wait, that's kind of
Um,
into like a science class. I
and
guess
how are you going to argue with that?
politics are in everything, though.
I
It's
have exclusively studied very female-dominated subjects, so I wouldn't
such
re
as,
English in publishing.
do you think that's like reinstating gender stereotypes, though? Or are women just like better at comprehension?
Um, I think men associate masculinity with STEM.
See, and well, I was a STEM major, but psychology, all women. There's two men per grade
And
year,
they're gay.
and they're twinks.
So,
So, but it's fun.
yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, wouldn't change it for the world.
Might go back.
Me too. But
Speaking
then
of,
also, oh,
you go
going
first.
back.
I was going to change the subject.
No, well now
Is it time?
it's time.
Speaking of things I studied in college, theory. Mhm.
Bitch,
Not you. Um,
please. Theory.
the theory of
Bitch.
the young girl.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hmm.
Is it actually about a young girl, though? Kind of.
No, the young girl is more of a phenomenon, a construct. A t
Facilitated through capitalism.
Right. Um, not always is she young, nor is she always female.
Mm-mm.
But the young girl is a concept.
Socially facilitated. It was written in 1999 by Tiqqun, a man.
Nope, a group of men.
Okay, good to know.
Um, just a bunch of dudes being bros, you know?
It's literally just, and it's a really emotional roller coaster to read because you're like, what did he just, or they just say? And then you're like, they ate with that. And then you're like, what?
Wait.
Yeah.
Ooh. Because they say super out of pocket shit and then they explain themselves and you're like, wait,
Yeah,
they're kind of right.
they are. For example, are there any, well, one of my favorite parts that I read ages ago, not this morning, ages ago, is that there's nothing less personal to the young girl as her value as a person.
I
And
also highlighted that part.
ages ago.
Because her value as a person isn't the inherent value that everybody, everyone has value as an individual, right? Like as a member of
Yeah.
society, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, that could definitely be argued. Like innately we have value, but like
Mhm.
do the people, yeah, you give
Right.
us value.
Right. Base layer, raw human form. People have value for being human, or so we like to think.
Or
But
living, or yeah.
the young girl isn't valuable as a person. Well, she doesn't see her own value in her value as a person, but as the price that she gets bought and sold for, which every time the buying or the selling happens, her value goes up,
Mhm.
making her more valuable.
But there's like a dissonance there. It's when even if you're preserving your value, say if you're, pure and untouched, um, fuck, fuck. One second. I looked in the mirror and I was just like, wow.
Real. It happens.
I should not have a mirror right there. Well, and even the preservation of your value, it can like bring your value up, but then that's a different level of value. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, because you can't, the young girl can't sell herself to just anyone.
Mhm.
Um, which is the preservation of her value. Um, I highlighted the part about that and I can't find it.
Yeah.
1 second.
Well, I was on Reddit browsing r/critical theory. Oh,
Um, to preserve her rarity value, she must sell
yeah.
herself at full price, meaning that she must most often refuse to sell herself. Also,
Hmm.
as she is seen, the young girl is opportunist, even in matters of abstinence.
But is there even power in abstinence, especially if you're not doing it for yourself, but doing it in the gaze of society, or which isn't always the case. Like some people just want, some people are just different. But it's a state of self-differentiation,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, you're not that different at all, even if
Because
you're still seen
nonconformity,
different.
nonconformity is conformity to the
Did you
nonconformists.
did you come up with that?
No, it's in the reading.
Um,
Do it.
it's in the reading. Whatever. Okay. You know what else is in the reading? He was like, Marx didn't sorry, they.
It's the
Marx
top
didn't
of
mention.
top of page 35.
Okay, everyone flip to page 35. That's chapter 4. Oh no. Yeah, it is.
So
I
what?
read multiple. So the reading. Okay. But they were like, Marx was not thinking about the young girl, even though he kind of was in like the general sense, not the actually. But I took that as face value. Like, no, Marx was not thinking about woman as much when he was talking about like he wasn't a feminist, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah. Marx was talking about the economy.
Yeah.
What chapter 4 is about is the young girl in the context of the economy as a commodity, as something to be bought and sold. So they applied Marxist ideals to that to kind of understand how women think about themselves, or the young girl thinks about herself.
When did Marx write the Communist Manifesto? Manna.
Um, like 1848.
Okay, so literally 140 years prior,
Hmm.
51, 150. And philosophy still talks about Marx all the time. But I guess they all talk about each other all the time.
That's kind of
It's
what philosophy is.
rhizomatic in that sense.
Mm.
That's the philosophy of Deleuze and Guattari. And it's like one of them was a botanist and he was studying the roots of a plant, a legume, I believe, and they were all like convoluted and so they're saying that the history of the world and humanity and literature and everything is not linear, obviously, but always interacting but never touching, like a root system.
Yeah. And like how the worlds are like a tree in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norse, is that Norway?
Yes. Not exclusively, but yeah.
It's so interesting how in a lot of mythology, women are revered and respected. Like in I Iraq. Sorry, how do you say it?
Iraq,
Okay. The
Iraq.
goddess Iran, Awak. I'm going to eat the goddess of heaven and like the moon. And then also in Hindu, they got a little a they them god
Hmm. A lot
and
of African
Egypt,
mythology also.
yeah,
Yeah.
like worshiping women. And then something happened, and I'm not gonna point any fingers, but I think it's the European colonizers. Oh, are they? They're right behind me, aren't they?
They're right behind me, actually. Yeah, it's because I've said this before and I said again, men hated the idea that they didn't create life. Men hated the
Mhm.
idea that they don't create life, that it's women.
Mhm.
So,
They're jealous of women and male seahorses.
mhm.
Men
It's
would suck at being pregnant, though.
it's the reverse penis envy.
Vagina envy. What do you mean reverse? You know what's interesting? Have you seen the thing where Trump did like whatever and he was like, if you're not a female at birth, you're not a female, or if you're not, but everyone's female at birth because no one has, or before birth, at conception,
Hmm.
because everyone starts out with an inverted penis, right?
Something like that. I don't
Something like,
know. Ooh, that.
sorry,
Ooh, that
we
goes.
can't talk about that.
Um, but yeah, everyone, because you get like, if you start out as just X chromosomes, and that's women, and then
Right?
eventually you like make the Y later on.
Yeah, which we think XX is cute.
XX is like, oh,
And that's what
Y.
X who? Yeah.
Mm,
Anyway,
Y.
the, the boys and the young in the theory of the girl were like, she's purchased because she has value. She has value because she's purchased.
She,
And it's not even an option.
yes. It's holy crap. My page
She's
is
looking
all
at her reading.
messed up. The the part where it's like the young girl wants to be seduced. So, there's this part where they talk about all for anyone who's not the young girl, um, all success in matters of seduction, and seduction is more or less like the selling yourself, but it doesn't necessarily have to be sexually. Um, but they talk about it sexually because that's kind of how they have their
Framework. That's how it
terminology set up.
typically goes, though, I would say.
What?
Like, even if it's not actually sexual, it still feels rooted in sexuality.
Yes, I would agree with that. Um, but they're talking about how like if you are seduced, you essentially have failed because in the same way that you're not buying a commodity, but the commodity is wanting to be bought. So it talks about, well, it's letting on to how women or the young girl are they are in possession of their own body at all times, even if they're bought or sold or anything. But because they're wanting to be purchased, you kind of lose out in that like ownership as the purchaser,
Mhm.
right?
So, would you say it's empowering to be purchased? I would say that's probably not the right word for it, actually, at all.
I would say the young girl thinks it is. I would say the young girl is supposed to think it is because it's adding to
She's raised to her
value.
value. Yeah.
Yeah, is
And
the
that's
more
the only
she,
place you can find value. Or
yeah.
it's just so deeply like hammered in, sorry, hammered into us at such a young age that like your value is in your sex appeal
Your
or just
desirability, yeah,
allure.
your seduction power.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Then what you said earlier about if if it's a power to avoid that seduction, is that what you were saying
Hmm.
as well? Because that takes the power away from the seducee. Are men okay? See, I take this way too literally, like because it does apply to girls so much. And I
Hmm.
know it's not just about girls, but so are men were the seducers.
We view ourselves as, or the young girl views
Mhm.
herself as the seducee and the man as the seducer, but the young girl wants to be seduced in order to add to her value. She wants to be bought and she want because it's like the more the young girl is wanted, the more she's valued.
Mm. It's very like I just want to talk to them about this because it's kind of like almost written from the perspective of an incel or like someone who Diary of an Oxygen Thief. It's almost like written um by a guy like that. But
Yeah,
then but then it like subverts that by being like it'll follow up and be like say something that I'm like,
that's kind of feminist, but in a
yeah.
very anti-feminist sort of way.
So it's like a parody, but
Yeah.
are we okay with it? Because when I was searching on Reddit, there was a professor who was like, I assigned this in one of my courses, and all of the women got very upset with it. And it doesn't upset me. Like, I'm not offended. Um, I think it's a fascinating perspective. And then if you are offended, I think you're missing the point.
I think if you are offended, it just makes it more accurate.
Mm,
This was this got assigned to me in undergrad, and this was one of my favorite readings that I did in any class, not even just theory classes. Um, because it is such a it's like incel guy, but like in the brain of a young girl. Because conceptually, the young girl can be not a young girl. So
Yeah.
it's like men can be the young girl, but then conceptualizing it from the perspective of a woman or
Mm.
of the young girl.
Which I
Make
appreciate.
Yeah. I think I think most of this I agree with.
Mhm. Me
So,
too. Well, because even if it's it's just like the reality of the situation. Like, yeah, even if it sucks to be objectified or but then to that point we're all objects or commodities in a capitalistic society.
yeah, that's what I think is so interesting is because it talks about the spectacle being,
Mhm.
because the spectacle refers to um, the relationship between people as a society. And women, or the young girl, is subscribing to their role in the spectacle or
Mhm.
their view from the spectacle.
Yeah, and almost everyone kind of or people subscribe to it out of necessity almost like and because it's such a valued thing like appearance and wealth and commodity and all that even though that's what like the spectacle is about like
Hmm.
consumers, which we all are. So we're all the young girl to daddy capitalism. So
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Uh,
did Guy Debord write The Society of the Spectacle? Is that what they're referencing?
um, I believe so. I don't know. I haven't read that.
Oh. Well, but if you've read other philosophy, um, they talk about it, so you get the gist.
Yeah.
1967. That's crazy. And they're all French. Like Baudrillard. Have you read Baudrillard?
No.
Simulacra. Oh,
Albert Camus, French. It's because the
speaking
French,
of,
nothing. My mom died today.
or yesterday, I don't remember. Is that the line?
Uh-huh.
We could talk about The Stranger. That's like Molly's favorite book, but I
It is
didn't
my-
like it that much. But I didn't, to be fair, I didn't finish it.
I think he's the young girl.
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm lying. I
He's
took
the young girl with the privilege of not being the young girl at all. Like,
No,
well,
he's not the young girl at all. Actually, I completely take that back. I disagree. I think because I think the young girl is someone who subscribes to how they're perceived by others and wanting to be perceived by um others in a like desirable, valuable sort of light. Um,
mhm,
Not necessarily valuable as a person, but you know,
mhm. And that guy doesn't care what
he doesn't give
anyone
a fuck
about
about
anything.
anyone
So
else.
that's what I was wondering. Is he like antisocial? Like, does he have antisocial personality disorder where he doesn't subscribe to society's like it's just social norms and laws?
I just thought he was autistic.
See, yeah, and there's a distinction there, but I guess it's up for interpretation when it comes to because I don't know if Camus was psychologically versed. He was probably just going off experience.
I don't think he experienced the plot of The Stranger, but
No, but like people he met, Jesus. Where
um
did he get it from then? His beautiful mind?
well, he was an absurdist. He thought that life was meaningless. Life is meaningless, but you can find meaning in it.
I'm an absurdist, I would say.
I am also, I think.
I think that's the natural order. Like you go to high school and you're like, I'm a nihilist. And then you go to college and you're like, I'm an absurdist.
Yeah,
Hmm. Everything's crazy. Random rules.
true.
Um, but I still struggle finding meaning as an absurdist because like there isn't any. I still
You can
struggle.
you can find meaning in it. Doesn't mean I have yet, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. We're still looking, so we'll let y'all know.
Um,
Yeah. So how do you feel living in this society of the spectacle?
do I believe in it? I
You
don't know.
painted your nails this morning.
What?
You painted your nails this morning.
I did. Really, it was this afternoon for
Oh,
me.
sorry. London time. So is if I were to go, if I shave my legs, am I a victim of society?
I think
I know
that
you like to shave.
I do like to shave. I shave for myself though, because I have sensory issues. Uh,
Right, right. That's what they all say. No, but I do get it. Yeah.
um, do you shave for yourself?
So here's my thing. I say like, oh, I don't shave for myself, but it's because I'm when I don't shave my legs for like a long time, it's because I'm lazy. And then I just hate being in the shower and then I feel like I'm gonna pass out. But then my sister comes home for Christmas break. First thing she says is, "Ugh, is that what like my legs would look like if I didn't shave?" My lesbian little sister, mask lesbian. And I was like, yeah. Okay. And then my mom said something, and then my older sister said something. They all thought I was making like a feminist statement. And I was like, so then I shaved my legs. And it wasn't even the male gaze. But when I wear like a mini skirt and go out on the town, which I haven't done in years, I shave my legs. So I can't say that I shave for myself or don't shave for myself.
Hmm,
Does that make sense?
that does make sense. I have a really hard time. I've, I mean, I've experienced ego death. I have a very loose sense of self, and I think um, I was brought up in a way that I thought that women acted a certain way and did things a certain way, and I'm a woman, so I must also do those things and act that way. And I did have a nonconformist streak
Hmm.
in like late high school, early college. Um, but I've reverted back to the way I think a woman should act and a woman should be because I like to think it's not for the performance of men, but it is a little bit. Um,
We're all performing for each other to some extent in
yeah, I'm like,
everything we do.
am I, and it's not even exclusively men, it's just how I want to be perceived because I do like womanhood and I
Mhm.
do like being that. Um,
Mhm. We don't like armpit hair.
I don't like armpit hair on anyone,
Anybody. Yeah. I think
anyone.
it's one of the worst.
It's
Um,
disgusting.
but then not I'm not saying that applies for armpit hair because for us it's just like a and the text when it gets wet. Sorry. Hold on to your lunch. Okay. Okay. But then it comes down to like the like cleanliness stereotype. Like if you don't shave, it's like seen as dirty. And where did that originate from? And when were razors invented?
Well, actually, women where it was enforced that women shave their legs because all the men went to war, um, the First World War and the Second World War. And the razor companies were like, we gotta sell this shit to someone. And so they started putting out ads that were like, women, look at your armpits. Isn't that gross? Don't you want that off? Women, look at your legs. Don't you, isn't
We
that
weren't even like
disgusting?
allowed to show those though.
Right. Well, that was the turn of the age. You were starting to in like the 20s and the 40s.
Like the
Um,
flapper girls were shaving probably.
yeah, yeah. And like the fifth like following. World War II, there was the 50s, which was the poodle skirts and the sock hops. So,
Mhm. Yeah. So that's
I mean,
crazy that it started off as just like a man thing.
hmm
And then they were like, and the women were taking care of the world when the men were at war, might I add,
hmm
holding down the fort. I'm pretty sure society got like significantly better once they were. Is that insensitive? Because they people
No,
died.
that's true.
Yeah. And safer. Sorry, I feel like we're like constantly veering towards radical misandry. So if you're offended by this, maybe think about why you're offended.
We're just speaking from our own experiences.
That's true. We can't have it. Can you have an intersectional view if you haven't intersectionalized? Because we haven't lived as a man, but they haven't lived as a woman either.
I don't know.
I don't think they need our empathy because they've weaponized it for eons. But the first razor was invented over 100,000 years ago. But it wasn't for aesthetic reasons, I would assume. It was probably like,
Practical.
yeah, well, why would they need why did they start shaving beards? Why do we even have beards and facial hair?
It was, I don't know why men, well, testosterone probably, you grow more hair, but to keep stuff from getting in your holes. All the hair grows around your holes.
Not your armpits. I guess those are like pores
Those
though.
are sweat for sweat
Man,
purposes, just like your eyebrows are for sweat purposes.
that's bizarre.
Mhm.
Thank goodness we have good eyebrows though. Well, no offense if you guys don't, but
Us?
yeah.
True.
That brings me to my next point. Men need to groom their fucking eyebrows. What are you guys doing?
Men need to groom, and I've been saying this forever.
Wait,
Men,
what's the point of toe hair? Sweat?
probably.
Not that I have.
That doesn't happen to me. I don't know. Um,
Yeah,
Men don't take enough pride in their aesthetic.
hygiene. Oh, yeah.
You know how I feel about philosophy
Aesthetic.
and aesthetics. So,
Can we title this episode that? Actually, what it's about.
yeah.
Okay, wait. Sorry for.
Um, we'll put a pin in it. We'll circle back. Um, because men are gross. I'm like, I want all men in the whole world to take care of the way that they look and put way more effort into it because it makes me so mad.
Can we, yeah, flip the script. Women, we're good, guys. I think we're all doing pretty good. Some of us might stink, but that's it's not us, not us. But that's a personal, well, and then it also comes down to like privilege, some people don't have access to um like showers and laundry and it's hard.
Yeah,
And
but most of them do and they ignore
yeah,
it.
the people that stink the worst, yeah. But for men, I don't care. Figure it out. Ladies, I'll give you
You're
the
fine.
benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And men just throw cologne on it. So much cologne.
And it's the
And
worst
it,
ones every single time.
they all smell the same. And
Axe
it's like,
body
can we get
spray.
a little, yeah, can we get a little musk in here? Not your natural musk, please.
Wood. I want you to
Yeah,
smell like a forest.
and yet they smell like a swamp.
Except they smell like the middle school boys' locker room. How?
Yeah. How do you guys still smell like that? Like the most
You not
consistent smell.
evolved at all since you were literally 12 years old? Please.
It's
Oh my.
because they weren't like bullied into worrying about that stuff. And that reminds me, I heard an interesting point from a fellow podcast on Instagram, but that the age of like 17 to 19 for girls is the same as the age for 21 to 25.
I
What?
saw this, and I think it's true.
I sent it to
Men,
you.
oh, men need to practice a little bit more introspection, please.
Yeah. We're literally forced into introspection from such a young age, and they're just like la-di-da, hooping it up with my boys. And then they have like an ego death way too late in the game, or if they take mushrooms at
Yeah.
some point. And then they're like, uh-oh. And it's like, catch up, guys.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's like physiological the way that women mature quicker. Well, maybe it is, but I think a lot of it is social,
A lot, yes.
which ties us back to the
The
theory
theory
of the young
of
girl.
the young girl. Well, yeah, it's from the moment the young girl is born, we are witnessing other young girls and we are subject to the way that they see themselves. And um
I
you
think we
cannot,
also idolize, we men and women probably idolize differently because as a young girl, like older girls were just so cool and like you just wanted to impress them. It literally was never about older guys, especially at like for me at least. Like, and then you get to middle school and you're like, to impress your other girls and to impress society, you want to have the attention of everybody.
yeah. And that's because you view yourself as a commodity.
Where men probably idolize those who commodify and are have power in that. Like, I
Men
can't think of a single example.
men only want to impress other men.
John Cena, yeah. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I don't, what do you
Jason
guys
Momoa.
like? Yeah.
What are y'all into?
They literally only want to, so I guess girls want to impress everybody. Guys want to impress other guys.
Which is
It,
gay.
it is. And girls are bisexual. Boys are gay and girls are bi.
No, yeah. Because do men even like women anymore? Be so for real.
No,
No,
no.
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 They want they want the most valuable woman,
Hmm.
which is the woman whose non-conformity is a conformity,
Hmm.
which is the, I guess, never mind. I thought that through and
They
I
see
don't.
women as something to conquer, and once they're conquered, they lose value.
But if
They,
they're
their value appreciates.
but if the woman gives in, then it's
Hmm.
not a conquer, conquer, conquest.
Conquest.
Um, and it's less valuable. So,
So everyone sit with that one. Your reading, your assignment for this week is the Communist Manifesto.
but view it from the perspective of the young girl.
this is why we do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, Charlie.